cool now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday to you. We've got a very special guest joining us today for chat. It's Chef Rick Tramonto. He got his start in Wendy's. That's right, at a Wendy's in the 70s.
Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers. You have to put the whole thing
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
That's right, because that was the whole name. But since he's worked his way up the fast food chain, and he's now a multi-award-winning chef in many restaurants.
Yeah, he's been featured on the Today Show, Top Chef, Oprah, People Magazine, many, many other places.
It's kind of a big deal.
Too many to list,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
He's written 8 cookbooks, including these 2, Steak with Friends and his memoir, Scars of a Chef. Rick lives in the Chicago area with his wife and 3 sons and is active in his church, too. In fact, I noticed all the biblical verses in your latest cookbook, which is fun.
I've been blessed, man. God's been good to me. It's been a good journey. You know, He's kept me alive. He's kept me moving forward. And, you know, I do a lot of stuff with my youth groups. And I have 3 teenage boys, so I give back a lot. And, you know, try to teach them to give back a lot. And that there's a lot of hurting people out there. And there's a lot of hopelessness in some of the neighborhoods here and in Chicago and in New Orleans. I go back and forth to New Orleans, so there's a lot of hurting people post-Katrina, actually.
Yeah.
Do you remember a time in your life when you felt hopeless or very little hope? I mean, I read you were a high school dropout, you had a learning disability, used drugs, your dad spent time in prison.
Yeah. So all that.
Yeah, all that
Pick
good
one.
stuff. Yeah. Did it make you feel hopeless though, especially while at the time in your life when you were using drugs?
Yeah, you know, I think the piece was, I think the piece that was the hopeless piece was when you get so frustrated with your life that you feel like there's no way out. So drugs is a result of that. You know, access and excess becomes a result of that. The frustration and the hopelessness is, you know, I'm trying to crawl out of this box that I want out of, and you're not getting help to do that, or you don't have the skill sets to do that. For me, it was reading. I didn't read my first book till I was 28 years old.
No way.
Really?
Unbelievable. Think about it.
Do you remember what your first book was?
Yep.
What was it?
The Bible.
Really?
Yeah.
I
At
love
28.
That's right.
You read the book.
I read the book. But growing up in culinary, you know, your chefs would say, we're going to learn how to make consommé tomorrow. So I want you to go home and read about consommé. Go to your Escoffier or go to your LaRousse book. And right away I'm like, huh? You know, so you go to the library, because I couldn't afford cookbooks, and there was no internet and no Google and none of that back in the day, the Barney Rubble days. And, you know, and you know, we had to you had to try to read a recipe, but try to look up the words to understand what the recipe was in multiple languages, in French, technique, and all this stuff. And it's hard. So I have to say one thing. So I'm cooking at this World Summit in Sweden in the spring, and one of the exercises I'm going to do is I'm going to take a French chef, a Spanish chef, an Italian chef, an American chef, and I'm going to make them do a recipe in each other's language just to get my point across of how difficult it was. Because to me, it was like reading a foreign language, but there was no skill set to read. So that was some of it.
Wild.
I like that you talk about your past and that you don't run from it. You don't pretend it didn't happen. You really put it all out there. You own it.
No skeletons.
No,
Zero.
none. You know, you've got 3 boys. You did not finish high school, right?
I did not. And you know, in 2 weeks, I'm giving the graduation speech at the CIA, which I thought, you know, I said no to like 3 times. I felt very hypocritical by saying yes to, until the president of the school sat down and said, that's the whole idea. I want you to tell these kids, you know, that there's going to be kids knocking at their back door as chefs graduating from the Harvard of culinary, the CIA in Hyde Park, that they need to let in their back door and give them a shot, you know. So that's the message.
What do you say to your kids, and how do they do in school?
They do good. They're you know, I have one that just graduated college.
Yeah.
I have one that's just going in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have one that's a senior in high school, and you know, he's my youngest, and you know, he's they're all handfuls at times in their life, but they kind of come full circle. But you know, I'm pretty straight up with them. I mean, they know where I stand, and they understand that that I don't want them to go down that road, and they've had more opportunities than I ever had in my life, as we all want to do for our kids. You know, I want them to do better than and I wanted to do better than my mom and dad, and it's that spirit of hope and inspiration. But It's the giving back part. It's the, you are not entitled to anything. You are, you are blessed. You come from a great family, but at the end of the day, you need to work harder than everybody else because you have these opportunities that others don't. And when you get to that place, I want you to go down and spend time in, not so desirable neighborhoods, or give back, or go do Christmas in Inglewood, or come to New Orleans and hang out in Termay, and let's do a barbecue for the kids in Termay and give them backpacks for school. It's constant. It's not a one-time fix. It's a lifestyle. It's like cooking. Cooking is, for me, I don't dabble in being a chef. There was no celebrity chef piece growing up. It was all about cooking. It was all about being, it was a lifestyle. People joke about bikers and tattoos or chefs and all these, reality shows and stuff, but it's changed. I mean,
now it's glamorous to be a chef.
Yeah, some days. Some days.
But I mean, in the popular reality shows, I mean, it's glorified, it's glamorous.
Yeah.
You said, during the break, you had tattoos before tattoos were cool.
Yeah.
What are some of your tattoos? We've got a lot of viewers who love tattoos.
Yeah.
Show theirs off. Are you willing to show yours?
It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
So I have about 32 tattoos. I mean, I'm pretty.
Yeah, show us your sleeves.
So this was my very first when I was 17 years old.
Oh, it's like a fork, a spoon. Oh,
that's right. It's the nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And then I just started
Keep holding there.
build
Put your
on
arm out a little more. We'll get a better shot of it there.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It's easy to find.
See, the inner forearm seems like it'd be really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then I have my life scriptures, and I have lots of things that need to remind me of
Yeah, because
me.
this says faith here.
Yeah, and this is my, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, which is Philippians 4:13, which is my life scripture.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry, I'm hitting the mic on you guys.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know each other yet to show you all of them. But
You're not going to do a full reveal with the shirt off?
no, we're not doing that.
That comes later. We'll have you on one more time before that.
We need to have at least a second appearance for that.
In your book, though, you often wear short sleeves so that people can really see your tattoos. Is it a source of pride for you now as you respect the journey and how far you've come?
It used to be not so much a source of pride at all. It used to be a source of, or it is, of entry, of conversation. When you go to my dad went to prison when I was a kid. I do a lot of stuff with Angel Tree Projects, which is you go visit parents in prison and then you go find the kids and you visit them and you bridge the gap. If it's their birthday, if it's Christmas, whatever it may be, here's a present from your mom. You saw my mom? Yeah, I saw her last week. She's doing great. She loves you. She's thinking about you. So a lot of it became bridging the gap for me in neighborhoods, in prisons, in certain things. But it was also my own thing. It's art. I'm an artist. It's food is science and art, and it's the balance of food and of art and science. So I have so much respect for the arts, and I'm inspired by it. So it's a whole different thing for me. It wasn't a pride thing. It's a personal thing. It wasn't a ego thing or a let's do it thing because they're doing it on Iron Chef and Top Chef. It was way before all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this a long time. Like I said, this is my 33rd year in the business. It's the only thing I've ever done. I tell my kids all the time, I never even had a paper route growing up.
And you even worked at Wendy's one point. I saw the picture.
Wait, you gotta say the whole name.
Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers.
There you go.
There you go.
Wendy's
Hey, is there one food you wouldn't eat as a kid or you still won't eat?
Yeah, fruitcake.
Really?
I'm not
like
a fruitcake.
Is that the Jello with the fruit in it,
No,
or
it's the
that's
fruit
an
that
actual
you
cake?
use.
It's like
It's the cake that
it's
you
a really
use.
dense
The
bread
round one?
You
cake.
kind of use it like as a doorstop sometimes. but there are good fruitcakes out there, and I know I'm going to get letters.
You're going to get so many
and you're going to
grandmas
send me
emailing
all
you.
these fruitcake recipes and bring it. I mean, I can't get invited to a dinner to save my life. It's like, I can't invite a chef to a barbecue.
I
mean,
bet.
well, what do you mean? I mean, it's all about the.
You're like, I'm just grilling
kumbaya,
hot dogs.
right? I mean, it's all about
That's
that.
true, though. That would be very intimidating. Like to think about inviting you over for Thanksgiving. No way.
I'm going to send my email address out. I expect lots of invitations to barbecues.
Lots of invites. Oh, that's
But you're
great.
here for the Lombardi Food and Wine event, which is tomorrow night.
I am.
There's also one tonight,
Yeah.
and it's a big fundraiser.
Totally
as
near and
everyone
dear to my
knows.
heart. I'm an only child growing up. Both of my parents died of cancer. My dad, actually, about 5 years ago, we brought him from Rochester to my home in Chicago, and we set up an amazing hospice center at my house. And we filmed every day at dinner with my kids and telling stories. And, we made it as as good as it could be.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And it was great. It was a blessing for my kids, because then they have all the stories that my dad told them about all the crap that I used to get into. So now they have the blackmail material on film.
It's
great. I know you're going to be kind of like stepping around a little bit tonight, as well as tomorrow. It's the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation, the Lombardi Food and Wine Experience. So going on the 8th, the 9th, and the 22nd, today being the 8th. So you're going to be just kind of hanging out a little bit tonight. Then tomorrow night's when you're really whipping up some stuff, some great dishes for a real special event. Limited tickets available, so be sure to contact the website we just showed you for more information about that. But to find out more about all your great cookbooks and all your great tats and your faith and your family and all of the things, the wonderful things that you cook up, you can go to ricktramonto.com.
It was a pleasure having
Fantastic.
you here.
Super cool.
Thank you
Come
so
back
much.
soon, because I know you
Appreciate
like Milwaukee.
I do.
Cheers.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm on the hunt.
Yeah.
So never know.
I love it.
Never say never, as they say, right?
I think maybe
We'll
I
tell you
will
where you
invite
should
you to
move.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
We'll convince you.
Great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.